You're listening to Fueled, a Finstamaker podcast, and I'm your host, Catherine Finstamaker.
All right, just to introduce our guest today on Fueled Season 3, all about the Louisiana Watershed Initiative, we're here with Jonathan Breaux. Jonathan Breaux began his surveying career at Finstamaker as a rodman in 2007. Now, almost 16 years later, Jonathan is a Party Chief 3, having worked his way through the ranks of our field operations. As a survey party chief, Jonathan coordinates and supervises the activities of his crew, including instrumentmen and rodmen, as directed by project managers and under the supervision of our field operations manager, along with a licensed professional surveyor. Throughout the years, Jonathan has exhibited excellent time management, conflict resolution, and teamwork skills, has held himself and his crew to a high standard of operation, demonstrating accountability, independence, and professionalism as our company representative on job sites. We're excited to be out here with you, Jonathan, and look forward to getting to know you a bit better as we explore your role as a Finstamaker Party Chief and as an integral part of the overarching subject of this season of Fueled, the Louisiana Watershed Initiative. So thank you for being with us today.
Thanks for having me.
So, a far cry from the plan for Season 3. This was supposed to be summer in the swamp, but here we are
Summer's
today.
Gone now.
So we just kind of shifted and really just interested in the Louisiana Water Initiative and everything that's going on with it. So just a bit of background. In August of 2018, Governor Edwards launched the Louisiana Watershed Initiative, a continuation of the planning, coordination, and collaboration across various federal, state, and local agencies in direct response to the historic flooding events in March and August of 2016, events that forced us to rethink how our state approaches floodplain management. Following the launch of LWI in September of 2020, the federal government, through the U.S. Department of Housing and Urban Development, a grant agreement was signed, establishing a $1.2 billion line of credit in community development block grant mitigation funds for flood risk reduction priorities throughout Louisiana, providing an unprecedented opportunity to enhance and expedite these LWI efforts. Through the Louisiana Watershed Initiative, the Council on Watershed Management established 6 strategic areas to guide planning, projects, and policies toward long-term flood risk reduction and quality of life improvement across the state, one of which is data, the focus of our podcast interview today. So LWI requires relevant living models and data in each watershed that are then used for land use, policy decision-making, and project evaluation, and that's what you guys are out here focused on. So my first question for you is, from your vantage point, how does it affect you knowing that the data collection and the survey work that you're doing out here in Region 4 is serving as the foundation for all the efforts encompassed in the Louisiana Watershed Initiative?
Well, to me, we're doing our cross sections. We have to take pictures and everything. What it is we're trying to find out the drainage after the storm, especially. There's a lot of obstacles, a lot of blockage here, and for me, it's to help the state. Kind of keep our insurances here in the state. Hopefully, give us a lower premium. I find it rewarding for the state. It's a hard task, definitely, but we're getting it done. We're getting elevations. We're showing problems, and I think it's rewarding. I think it's something besides the oil field.
Yeah.
You know, we're actually doing something that's going to help the state, you know, with flooding issues, waterways, not just for our assets, you know, that's for wildlife, you know,
Right.
fishing, hunting. So to me, it's kind of rewarding to kind of help out, you know, participate in it.
Does being such a critical component in this larger effort make your effort more meaningful to you, knowing that it will serve our state for
Yes.
decades to come?
Oh, yeah, a lot more rewarding. Like I said, if everything could just drain out properly, we wouldn't have to worry about all this flooding issues. Yeah, especially wildlife. I mean, you got fish, deer, everything. The water gets blocked up miles down the road, hunting's going to disappear, fishing's going to disappear. So for me, you know, being a sportsman, fishing and hunting is definitely rewarding for me.
And did you grow up like that?
Yes. I grew up in the basin, fishing, hunting. It's just my way of life too.
Your
You know,
dad
that's my
taught
play
you
time.
That comes from your family?
Yeah. My dad was a big fisherman, not much of a hunter. I kind of pick up the hunting through friends, but for me, it's rewarding. Something to bring the kids out, besides the shopping and playing on their iPads.
Mm-hmm.
I like to bring them out fishing, hunting, and water has a lot to do with it.
Yeah, for sure.
So that's why it's rewarding, seeing it go through. If it gets cleared up and everything works like it's supposed to.
Yes.
It would be good.
Okay, so it being rewarding in that aspect, is this project, I guess, like from a ground perspective, is it different in any remarkable way from others that you've worked on in the course of your career?
Yes.
And if so, how?
Yeah, like I said, I do a lot of oil field work.
Mm-hmm.
Doing oil field work, you put in a pipeline, you're doing the well location. Mm-hmm. Yeah, we'll see the work when it's done. But something like this is going to affect everybody. It's a whole lot different because I can actually see what's going to happen, what's going to affect us. Even though we're way out here in DeQuincy and Lafayette, it can affect us there too. I mean, we're doing research there also.
Is the landscape or terrain different, or is it just like the job, the task order
terrain,
itself?
It's all about the same because we're always in the woods, pipeline. We're in the swamps, we're in the marsh. We're kind of in the same terrain.
Kind of
it's
prospecting right of way.
Yeah.
Normally, or like staking a well pad location.
Staking, cutting out, so we work on the waters, probing. It's all the terrain's about the same.
But it's kind of like the approach and like the mentality and just knowing the bigger picture.
Exactly.
And
it's a whole different type of work. This is more of engineering. And like I said, it's a more meaningful thing that's going to affect a lot of people. A well location pipeline is going to affect a group of people, This is going to affect the whole state.
Yeah.
So it's different.
So you say it's more of an engineering thing. Do you find yourself working with different people in the office?
Yes. I work with different project managers, engineers on the project, because we have a survey department and an engineering department. So it's also a nice thing to see that we're working with other people in the office.
Yeah.
Get to know them better. Get to see how this works, this works compared to our oil and gas and petroleum side.
Which was like pretty much siloed into the survey division.
Yep.
And then so this is kind of a one company move.
We could do it all. We could all work together on it.
Yeah.
Whatever department.
So have you met anybody interesting in engineering that you took a liking to?
I'm a big people's person. I get along with everybody. I enjoy working with Bradford and all them, and I like it. It's different. It's different work. It's refreshing to have something different,
Yeah,
deal with different people and see how they like to work, how they like things done compared to oil and gas out of the company, So I enjoy it. I enjoy it.
So, okay, you're a survey crew. As one of the 10 Finstamaker crews working this project in Region 4, which includes parts of DeSoto, Sabine, Vernon, Rapides, Beauregard, Allen, Calcasieu, Jeff Davis, and Cameron parishes, which is a large swath of land. It's responsible for executing the survey plan developed in conjunction with DOTD for the Whiskey Chitto, Toledo Bend Reservoir, Lower Sabine, and Upper Lower and West Fork Calcasieu watershed. So my question is, has the vast expanse of sheer land coverage been overwhelming, or has that been a welcome challenge for you?
Not really, nothing I'm used to. Like, for instance, pipeline, like where we're standing here. This line probably runs for 400 or 500 miles.
Okay.
So it's kind of like the creeks. It runs 30, 40 miles. So we're used to jumping over different parishes, towns, and with today's technology, with Google Earth and our assistants from the office, it navigate pretty well. It's not overwhelming. It's just another day at work for me,
Okay.
So, but other than that, it's pretty simple.
Doesn't intimidate you?
Nothing intimidates me. Not when it comes to that,
And are you in like collaboration, communication with the other crews, or do y'all just kind of operate
we'll talk,
independently?
Sometimes they might need some help on something, see where they're at. That way, if we out here in a remote area, we know where the other crew's at. If something would have happened, if I would have got our UTV stuck, my truck stuck, or God forbid something would have happened to one of us, we know where the other crew's at. So we could call them up right quick, say, hey, look, we need help, we need assistance. Can you come get us right quick? Yeah, we know where they're at. And we talk in the evenings at the hotels and stuff.
Yeah? So that's some good camaraderie then.
Yeah. It's all good stuff. Sometimes we complain and sometimes it's, it all comes with the terrain. Yeah, it just depends how it goes that day, But
nice.
Yeah, but we stay in touch with everybody out here.
Good. That's good that y'all have that relationship. So a lot of the work being done out here seems to be in remote and heavily wooded locations, perhaps even some storm-ravaged areas that offer a lot of difficulty as far as accessibility and navigability. How have these environmental hazards played a role in working on this project? Tell me about some of the obstacles that you and your team have been faced with overcoming.
A lot of down trees. A lot of damaged trees are down. We try not to spend too much time trying to get to a spot on the creek here. So once we're coming through, if it's super thick, trees are down everywhere, we'll skip it and go to the next one.
Okay.
Or what I normally do, I just follow it. And if I see a path that's easier, the woods are clearer, I'll jump in and get it there. Even though it's not on the point, at least we're giving them something.
Right.
And that's been our toughest challenge out here. Is
And would you
accessing
say
through the
those
woods.
down trees, is that from the hurricane?
Mostly from the hurricane.
Laura,
Yeah,
like
Hurricane
you can
Laura.
tell the path of it.
Yeah, because we're right in the path of the hurricane here. And it knocked down major trees. And when the trees fall, it's been, about a year now?
Yeah.
All that underbrush comes up
Okay.
real super thick because there's no more canopy.
Okay.
So when you have a tall trees canopy, the underbrush stays low and you can navigate through it.
Okay.
But when the sun's just beating down on everything, it gets real thick.
Okay.
And it takes time. We have to cut our way through.
Yeah.
It might take us hours to get to the creek if we have
What
to
kind of
cut.
tools are you using to cut?
What's that?
You using machete to cut?
Brush hooks.
Brush
We
hooks?
use brush hooks.
Okay.
Yep.
So you don't bring a chainsaw out?
No,
don't
not
get
on this
that heavy.
project. No, we
Okay.
try not to damage any trees, any property. We tread lightly. We try to go around things if we could. If not, we just find the best way in.
Is that a landowner concern of like disturbing a tree or something like that?
Well,
Is there a
it's
fear of-
that we don't want to get any landowners, upset.
Right.
You know. It's not only just their trees, their food plots. It's hunting season.
True.
You got food plots. I mean, I get people come on me all the time. They see me on cameras.
Okay.
And they come and ask what we're doing and stuff. And I tell them, look, we're not damaging nothing. We just cut vines to kind of get through. Sometimes they enjoy it because now they have a pathway through the woods to go get their deer.
Oh,
or-
okay.
It just depends who you meet.
You might have
know.
paved a road for them.
Yeah, sometimes it does help them, And
You got
sometimes
any
they help us.
You got any cash reward for that? Or
No, I
they
wish.
just let it go?
No, and sometimes they help us out. I came across some hunters or some landowners. I was like, look, I'm trying to get to the creek. I show them on the map. They said, well, I got a trail right through here. And I followed them on their four-wheelers or whatever.
Okay.
And sometimes they help me out.
Some of them are happy to
Yeah, some are.
assist
Some are
and
not so
guide.
pleasant, but we get some good ones.
All kinds.
Yeah.
As
yeah,
my
we get 'em all.
grandmother said, it takes all kinds.
Yep, all kinds.
So we're just kind of talking about landowners and interactions there. Aside from that, or maybe you could add on, my question is, how do you and your crew approach troublesome areas? And I ask, do you coordinate with landowners or public officials within the area for assistance? And you kind of already spoke to that,
Yeah.
but do you have anything to add about how y'all approach these
Well, the
trouble
way
spots?
I like to approach, if we come across a property, say the property's in front of the creek. There's a house, homestead, whatever. I go knock on doors. Try to look, hey, we on your property. We trying to get to the creek. We trying to do this. And most of the time, they good with it. They let us in. Places like this, I would call Joe up. Sometimes I call him, say, look, I can't access this. He'll look on his end and try to see if he can find another way in the remote areas. Sometimes they have locked gates. It's 3,000-4,000 feet. I mean, we can't walk that and come back within 2-3 hours.
So when you talk about referencing Joe, you're talking about
Yeah.
Joe with his drone equipment?
Well, he'll go on the computer and he'll look
okay,
at the
from the
map.
office.
He's looking at what we can see, but on the bigger picture.
Okay.
And sometimes he'll find information for us.
Okay.
He might find out the hunting club or whatever, the oil field, whatever we need.
Yeah.
And he'll help us out with that. And like I said, with the landowners, sometimes they'll let us on, say, oh yeah, there's a gate back there. Here's the combination. Just lock it back up, whatever. Some areas is just bad. We just can't get to it at all. We're a mile away from it and we just skip it. You know? We have a form on our phones, on that app, no access. So we take pictures, we show the gate, whatever the case is, and just continue to the next one. We just
use your
try to keep going.
judgment and use your connection in the office to kind of be your
Yeah, exactly.
base of additional information.
Yep.
That's cool.
That's how we've been. It's been pretty successful. It's been working pretty good. And like you said with the drone, there's one day I called Joe up, man, on the Whiskey Cheetah.
Mm-hmm.
Couldn't get nowhere near it for
Okay.
miles. Nowhere near it. Everything was locked up. The access was bad. The trees were horrible.
Yeah.
And they had these cliffs just dropping. So the places that we can't get to, we couldn't get in the creek. Because they had 30, 40 foot drops.
Right.
So I coordinated with him, had him come out with the drone, man. He started flying drones out.
Okay.
I said, look, here, and here. Looks like it's good. Instead of us spending days
Right, walking
trying
it
to find
or...
the access, he could see it with the drone image.
Okay.
Because the Google Earth, some of it's outdated.
Right.
So some of these images are from like 5 years ago, 10 years ago. It's different. So
Or
when
like
we
you
get
were
there,
saying earlier, the water level might have
the
changed.
water level could have changed. It could be lower, it could be higher.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and when he gets that drone, it's alive, man. We sitting there watching it.
Okay.
And he's like, okay, we know we can't get there. He'll make some circles around the area and say, okay, here's a trail. It looks good. We know it's good because it's real time. And we'll try that. And he go back in the office, process it, give me some points. We can throw it on Google Earth and I can navigate to it.
Nice.
And instead of spending, like I said, days or weeks, this failing attempts, just trying to get to what we see on Google Earth, we have it right there on the drone.
Okay, and so since you've been at this work for such a long time, this kind of newer technology, do you find whenever it was introduced, maybe there was some skepticism, maybe people were side-eyeing it a little bit, or like whenever it came on the scene, were you just welcoming to it and just in acknowledgement that it was just creating efficiency in your work like you just described?
I enjoyed it.
Yeah.
I think technology is coming a long way, helps us out, cuts out, it might sound bad, but it cuts out man hours, but giving good product. We're giving good time, and we're saving money on the client's end. We're doing all this, you know, so I'm always inviting technology. I love it. It helps us out. I mean, when I first started, everything was cabled. There was no Bluetooth. So we had to fight away with everything. You couldn't do no GPS work in the woods. Thank God we have what we have now with GPS, you know, because if we had to do all this conventionally, man, we'd be here for years. So technology has always been impressive for me, you know.
Yeah.
And just like I said, I could call the office up, say, hey, can you look at this? Can you look at that? They could do it remotely, you know?
Yeah.
So I like it.
Well, that's good that you have a positive attitude, because I think a lot of people get stuck in the way things were always done. And it's easy to to want to resist change.
Yeah, I can see
to
that.
Embrace it is a great mentality.
Yeah, people are just stuck in that ways. They know it. They're comfortable with it.
Yeah.
And I understand that. And some of the guys, they're older. They're not into it no more, and I understand, you know.
Yeah.
The old-fashioned bust your butt and get it done, which we still do.
Right.
But now we have help of technology, you know.
And
it
you
makes
talk
it
about the kind of like the trade-off, right? Of it's less man hours. So you might be sacrificing some man hours on a particular job, but also it frees you up to work other jobs.
Exactly.
So the magnitude.
You get more jobs coming in.
Yeah.
Compared to other companies that still have the old ways.
Right.
Might take them a month to do what we could do in a week.
Yeah. Do you have friends who work for other companies?
I have a brother that, well, he surveyed, but he's offshore.
Okay.
I have some friends of mine that work here that went to other companies. And I still talk to them every now and then.
And they're using like similar methodologies?
Some,
or do you find that, like, where are we in as much as like advanced
I think we're
technology?
getting more advanced. I think I think it's because we're a bigger company. They work for these mom and pop operations, so they don't have as much, I guess, cash flow to come through to buy new equipment.
Right. And I know there's been a push from the top to invest in newer technologies, to develop deeper partnerships with companies like Trimble, and to integrate these newer technologies more. And so have you felt that in recent years, of more of like an investment and a push to use these latest and greatest?
I hear it a lot. As a matter of fact, I talked to Mr. Charlie, fence maker, at the gumbo thing a couple of weeks ago. He's going to Trimble over there in Vegas.
Yeah, they just went.
Yeah. And I thought it was pretty neat, man.
Yeah.
He was talking about the new equipment. Maybe we could get our hands on it.
Yeah.
Start playing with it a little bit and see how it does.
Do you like the idea of being a guinea pig for new technology?
I love it. I mean, I don't know the business end of all that, but being out here in the field,
You like to put your hands on it.
Oh, I would love it.
Well, you're the end user, right?
Yep.
So whatever decisions are made there,
I give them my opinion about it, what I feel, and we go from there. From there, it's an office decision. It's the higher ups.
That's how they troubleshoot and develop new technology.
Yeah.
So that's also being on the front end of development.
Yeah, exactly.
Really
what
cool
it can do, what it can't do. Is it compatible with our stuff? And how often we're going to use it? Stuff like that. So,
okay.
It's pretty neat.
You ready for my next question?
All right.
Okay, given the difficulties and challenges of this job, what keeps you showing up day after day? How did you get into surveying, and what do you love about it?
Well, the way I got into surveying, I worked offshore. I was a safety inspector offshore, and I was looking for something new. I had a friend of mine that was going to school for surveying, and he was employed at CNC.
Okay.
And at the same time, my brother was going to school for civil engineering and surveying. He said, hey, why don't you give CNC a try?
Okay.
You like offshore, try that and see. I said, well, I'm trying to get out from offshore, but let's do it. So I got into that, and they were into sonars and all that stuff, and I did it for about a year.
Okay.
And then I just decided I didn't want to go offshore really anymore. So I started looking around, and my same friend of mine that got me with CNC was working here at Fence Maker.
Okay.
And it's a little summer intern thing he was doing, and so I gave it a whirl. At the first day, I didn't like it.
Uh-oh.
Yeah.
What happened the first day you didn't like it?
Like I said, I worked offshore. I wasn't working, on land. I never.
Okay.
I was always offshore. Well, I'm in
offshore,
a swamp.
you're kind of like in a confined space, right?
Well,
you're just
we were in a
on
ship or a boat or something,
Okay.
Jackups or whatever. I was on platforms and stuff like that. But my first day here, we were out there in White Castle. It was storming, lightning.
No.
In a swamp up to our neck. We had a canoe. We flipped out of it 3 times. Oh, yeah. We were trying to get it done, which I love the outdoors.
Yeah.
Nothing scares me. I just didn't like the lightning. So I'm holding a prism rod, 12 foot up in the sky in the woods, and lightning hitting around. I was like, is this really for me? Because I don't, But I talked to, my boss at the time, and I told him about it. So he said, look, forget that. Put you on another crew.
Okay.
And I did that, and I've been here ever since. I loved it. I love it out here. I love the outdoors. I love the people I get to meet. Some people are kind of bad people, but most of the time it's good. Give or take, talk to people, and travel.
Yeah.
I love it. So that's what gets me.
What advice would you give to someone who's maybe up and coming, looking for, to get their toes wet in this, in this area of career choice?
Definitely try this kind of work in surveying.
Yeah.
There's different types. They got, most of your engineering surveyors, they highways and developments and stuff like that, which is nice.
Yeah.
But you're in traffic. You're in busy areas all the time.
Okay.
If you get into surveying, try something like this, all field or, watershed, whatever. Something that's out in the woods, out in pastures, out open country.
You like the natural environment.
The freedom. Of course, they watch us. They didn't know about the data. But come out here and make decisions. Do what you need to do. You don't have people all over you. You don't have cars blowing horns at you.
Yeah.
Try not to get hit by a car. Being out here, it's nice.
Do you feel like it's a trade-off, though? You're not having cars zoom by you, but you might encounter some snakes or some gators.
I'd rather deal with a snake and a gator anytime.
Than an 80-mile-per-hour car.
Oh, yeah. 80-mile-an-hour car, somebody texting. Or
yeah. It
on
truly
the phone,
is dangerous.
We do some stuff on the side of the road, too, now.
Yeah.
We had some close calls, especially with me. I almost got hit a couple of times. Just off the side of the road, we had lights on, strobe lights, cones. They don't care.
So what would you encourage drivers to do then?
Oh, slow down when you see a truck on the side of the road. Don't matter if it's surveyor or anybody, just slow it down. That's my thing.
Yeah.
I was a fireman. I ran with the police department for a while, and I seen this. I seen emergency personnel get hit by vehicles. Just because they said they didn't see him or whatever, it's a dangerous thing. You don't think it is, but it's bad on them roadways. So
and all those people have a family that they're trying to get home to.
Oh, yeah, everybody.
Let's keep that in mind.
Yep.
Okay, so let's talk a little bit about the exact scope of the survey plan for Region 4 of the Louisiana Watershed Initiative. You're looking at collecting both topographic and bathymetric survey data. So for those who are not familiar with survey technology, can you tell us the difference between those two data sets, topographic and bathymetric?
The topographic, it's more of your mapping. It's more of, on land, getting elevation, showing contours of everything.
Okay.
Pretty much what we're doing.
Right.
What my crew's doing. Bathymetric is your underwater stuff.
Okay.
Your sonars, all that stuff, LiDAR, anything, side scans, anything underwater. Getting that imagery or whatever they're looking for underwater.
Okay.
That's the difference. Both of it's going on here. When the creek's too wide or too deep, we have our AT department that comes out.
Okay.
And they do the sonars and all that stuff because we can't. The water's 30 foot deep.
Right.
There's no way.
You're not putting you're not putting a snorkel on for that.
No, we can't do that. And so they come out with all their equipment and they can survey all underwater.
Yeah.
They could get the contours, positionings, everything that we need, that the state needs.
Right.
And get it mapped and modeled for them.
Okay.
And that's the two differences.
Okay, cool. All right, Jonathan, you and your crew, you're out here, you're responsible for collecting what's called cross-section data. Can you explain to us what a cross-section is?
A cross-section is pretty much getting the contours or elevations, more of your topo of the creek is what we're doing. So what we do is do a natural ground where the land's at its natural state, and we get the high bank. Right when the bank starts diving off, we'll shoot that in, survey it in. We get a slope if it's more of like a slope. A toe, a center line.
A toe?
A toe is where the bottom of the creek hits the bank of where it's coming up.
Okay.
Right? And the center line, which is the center line of the ditch or creek.
Okay.
And same thing going back up on the other side. And what it does gives us a big contour of how deep the water is, the bottom of the creek is compared to our high bank and compared to our natural grounds.
Okay.
So it's pretty much just a contour, just elevations, seeing what it looks like.
And you got to stay on the same trajectory?
It looks real good because we're doing all line work. So we try to keep it as straight as possible. Sometimes it might be bad on the other side. So we might have to move over 10, 15 feet over.
So it may go like this, it may go like
it might
that.
go a little screwed angle or something. It just depends how the terrain is,
Okay.
Sometimes we can't get up on the other side.
How many cross sections do you think you've done on this project?
A lot.
10, 20, 100, 1,000?
How many I did on this project?
Yeah.
Or cool. Hundreds.
Hundreds.
Yeah, I say close to 200 probably.
And across your career, how many?
Thousands. Thousands.
Hey, that's pretty cool though.
When I work in New Mexico or West Texas, even South Texas, some of the clients ask us when we do a well location, sometimes 500 by 500 pad, they want a cross section every 25 feet.
Oh, okay.
This is see how the land is, see what they have to build up, what they have to cut, what they have to field. So, we count in 16 years, thousands.
Okay.
Thousands and thousands.
Just depends on the detail orientation of the client, what the requirements
it depends what they want.
The job.
Yeah, yep. If they want to see what it looks like, sometimes they need it to see, okay, we need to build this side up.
Yeah.
Or we need to cut this side down, build, that kind of stuff,
Make their calculations.
Exactly. And our cross section is just, I guess it's seeing the elevations, coming from the beginning north and south, you know. So it kind of helps them out to see where the water's actually draining and, stuff like that.
Okay.
So.
Nice. Well, thanks for explaining that.
Yes, ma'am.
I think you're done a great job explaining it to me so that I can understand, and hopefully everybody listening can appreciate that. You're very seasoned in your career.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. That's really cool.
I'm marinated pretty good.
Marinated pretty good. Okay, so you're also responsible for collecting hydraulic structure data for this project. So can you give us some more detail on what type of structures you're inventorying and the kind of information that you're gathering about them?
Yeah, a lot of that. A lot of bridges.
Okay.
Culverts.
Okay.
That's usually the only structures we're coming across.
Okay.
Of course, we got to survey all the bridges that they handpicked, I guess, what they want.
Right.
We survey it, get elevations. We get low core, which is the lowest part of the bridge. Anything that could affect the water from passing, especially when it's high waters. Rails, like the guardrails.
Okay.
We got to shoot that in. Show them how high it is, if it's open or closed, if water could come through it or water's going to go around.
Okay.
So doing a lot of that. Culverts, we got to shoot in culverts, what sizes they are. Get the invert. So elevation.
What's an invert?
Invert is, so if you're shooting on the top of the culvert, the bottom of the culvert, that's going to be your invert. right in there.
Okay.
So sometimes we could get a rod down there and just take a direct shot.
Okay.
But sometimes we have to get on top and get an invert shot to where we have to measure the pipe by hand.
Right.
So we got a 24-inch culvert. We just add that to our rod height, and that gives us our invert.
So you encounter a bridge, and you think you're going to spend how much time about?
It depends on traffic and
Okay.
how bad the bridge is, how big the bridge is.
Okay.
Our bigger bridges here, we've been having our AT department come out and scan it.
And when you say AT, we're talking about our Advanced Technologies
Yes.
division. Okay.
And they would come out and they bring their scanners out and all that stuff, and they do it because it's a lot quicker for them.
Okay.
Instead of us,
They're
we have
collecting
Yeah.
a zillion points a second.
Yeah,
with
they're
their
collecting
high-tech stuff. Okay.
a ungodly amount of data.
Okay. So it just depends if it's a big
Yeah,
bridge
if it's a
and you
big
think, okay,
sweeping bridge or it's 2,000-3,000 feet long.
you determine
just give
whether
it
or
to
not
them.
you need support
Yeah,
with,
we just give it to
with
them.
that other
And
equipment.
we help them out. Sometimes they do that just to help them up. They do the bridge. We'll come back and get the cross sections on
Okay.
each side.
I got you.
It just depends what the
Partnership.
timing is, and if we're close enough to each other, we'll do that. Yep.
Okay. Nice. So this I'm really curious about. How is the information tracked and then relayed to the in-office project team?
Well, like I said, we have the forms on our phones. It's
Okay.
an app.
And that's the Survey 123?
Yes.
That's the Esri technology?
Yep.
Okay.
So we have a form for the bridges, the structures, and we have a form for our cross sections.
Okay.
So as we're doing it, the office could see it right when we submit it
Real
in.
time.
They could see it real time.
Okay.
They have it right then and there.
Yeah.
And that's how they keep in track of us, where we at, what points are we on.
Okay. Your project progress.
Yeah, see how we doing. And then all my data, I send in all my data at night.
Okay.
So I email all my data in, and they can see on there, okay, look, you got these points and stuff. And we do a report. We send a report in, tell them, look, we got these points we couldn't do.
All right.
No access. Okay, these are our structures we did. Here's our cross sections.
Okay.
That way they could keep up and take out what's done or what we need to address for later.
Okay.
That's how we keep in track.
Nice.
Yep.
Okay. That sounds like a good workflow.
Oh yeah, it's working out good.
All right. Just a few more questions before we get in the woods. All right. So the survey plan, it references the use of alternative survey methodologies, which we kind of talked about, in addition to the more traditional methods or ground-based methods that you and your crew are executing. So these include single beam sonar, laser scanning, and LiDAR technologies. And we kind of already touched on this, but maybe you can add to it. Can you talk about instances where these additional supplemental technologies are warranted, cases that you encounter where you call up our advanced technologies group for support? We kind of touched on them.
Yeah. Like I said, I called Joe.
So when the water's too deep.
Yeah, we had the drone come fly, and which it worked out good. I think he went to other regions or other areas, other forks,
Yeah.
and helped some other crews out with it. With the LiDAR and all that, the LiDAR is good. It could give a good, but it doesn't penetrate water,
Okay.
but a few inches.
Right.
So actually, we kind of have to go manually in it if we can.
Right.
Because we use kayaks, flat bottoms. Like I said, the water's 20 feet deep. We're taking a chance of losing our equipment.
Right.
You know, we're struggling to try to use a long rod,
True.
pole. So they would come in with their scanning.
Okay.
AT would come in, and if it's big enough to where they could get a decent boat in, they could survey.
Okay.
So as far as I know, I think they could get into everything that we had issues with.
Okay.
And sometimes they will find the problem before we even came up to it.
Mm-hmm.
So they already were scheduled to do these bigger areas that they know we couldn't get into.
Right.
So
when the water's too deep, when the bridge is too big, you're
Yeah.
calling in for
we call
support.
in AT.
You're letting them know.
Yep.
They're coming out here with
Yeah.
their equipment, or if you're having accessibility issues, they can kind of use Google Earth back in the
we get them out
office.
instead of just leaving it blank and not done. I mean, that wouldn't look good sending in.
Right.
Say we couldn't get it.
Right.
We tried everything we could.
So you're getting creative. You're using your resources.
We're using all the
team.
resources.
Yeah.
You know?
To fill in as many blanks as you can.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay.
We try to leave nothing blank.
All right. So now that we've talked about all that y'all have been up to out here, what do you think about showing us around?
All right, we'll do that.
All right. Okay, so while we're having a lull in the action, it's brought to my attention that y'all have faced some pretty extreme conditions lately. Heard about the recent gathering around a pot of gumbo where engineering and survey teams were celebrating the tremendous efforts of y'all's field crews on this job. And they told me that there were some stories exchanged. And so I was just wondering if you would share a story or two with us, maybe some of the crazier scenarios that you've encountered. The people want to know, okay?
I had one guy stop me in the middle of the road, asking me where I was going. It was a dead-end street, but it was about 2 miles long. I told him what I was doing, why I'm doing it, and where I was going. And he was like, not happy about it. I said, look, we could skip this. There's no problem. I'll go to another area. So he said, no. You coming back here, you might as well come and do it.
Okay.
I said, okay. So he goes out there, he unlocks the gates, and he told me, he says, you lucky you ran into me. Because if I would have saw your truck parked right here, I would have put you and all you guys. I got an excavator back there. Y'all been in that truck. I bury a hole and bury all y'all.
Oh, no.
Your truck, your side-by-side, everything.
He was serious?
Yeah, he was serious.
Like you felt threatened?
Oh, it was almost to that point. Because then he told me a hunter trespassed on his property a week prior. And I guess he got in a confrontation or something. He hit him. And now he's in a lawsuit over that. So I was like, look, I'm going to go to another area.
Yeah.
No, I already opened the gate. Just go do what you got to do. I said, all right. So
he changed temperature on you?
No, he was still. So I told my guys, I said, look, we're going to get on the bike. We're going to go ride back there where he can't see us.
Okay.
Wait for about 5 minutes and come back. Because I want to tell him, no, I'm not going in there.
Right.
Then he get upset because now he wouldn't open the gates. And
right.
So I just kind of did that way,
Yeah.
Played safe.
Yeah.
So, and then he told me he was going to run to his neighbor's house because his neighbors would shoot at anything. And to me, it's a crazy calling another one crazy.
Right.
He said, I'm going to let him know y'all back there. That way he doesn't come out and just start shooting in the woods.
Uh-oh.
I was like,
it's a dangerous situation.
Yeah. Well, you see, you got all these people that live way out in these woods.
Mm-hmm.
They don't want to be bothered with. That's why they out there.
Yeah.
And here we're coming.
Yeah.
And look, we're not trying to, I get people telling me, oh, now you're going to put me in the flood zone and all this. I said, no, we're not doing that.
So what do you want these landowners who may have misconceptions about the work that y'all are doing out here? Like, what do you want them to know about the benefits of y'all coming out here?
We're here to help y'all.
Yeah.
I know I'm fighting it.
Right.
Past 3 years, I lose my insurance every year. I have to find new insurance for my house.
Right.
And this is part of the reasoning is to try to keep the insurance companies in the state.
Yeah.
Well, when they see us in the creeks, they automatically think flood. You're going to put me in the flood zone. It's going to cost me this money. And it's not the case. It's a whole different survey when you got to do that kind of work.
Yeah.
And sometimes they don't want to hear it. Mm-hmm. Sometimes they don't want to chance it. And sometimes maybe they just don't believe me.
Right, right.
Which I understand, but...
They just have some skepticism.
Yeah.
And so you kind of approach them delicately.
Real polite with them. Say, look, we're not going to go back there. It's not a big deal.
Yeah.
I could go off to the next one. It's fine,
But you wish that they all knew that this was actually to benefit them, to benefit the state.
Because our normal jobs, doing oil field, oil and gas work, we have landmen. Yeah. So majority of the time, 90%, 85% of the time,
they're kind of serving as your go-between.
The landman already contacted the landowners on the properties they're going to be on.
Okay.
So they know we out there.
Yeah.
So if they're like, hey, I don't want nobody out there, well, the landman already dealt with it.
True.
We just don't go out there. It's not one of those, I just stumble across it and say, hey, I don't want you out here, then I'm in the bad spot.
I got you.
But that's what's different about this one is that we're pretty much have to get our own permissions. And that's what we try to do. That's why I knock on doors. That's why I talk to people. Over there in Elizabeth, we go eat lunch at this little Chevron gas station.
Okay.
After about 2 or 3 days, people started asking, y'all the surveyor surveying the creeks? So they knew we were there.
Okay. Their talk.
It was good because I felt bad because, now they know we're here.
Yeah.
But it was bad because now they started locking up gates. We couldn't get in.
So it depends.
So...
It cuts
we knew which
ways.
ones, because we were past. It's like, okay, this gate's open. We'll be back here probably in 2 days. We'll be to this point. 2 days come, we come, gate's locked. Well, we know the gate's open over there. Go over there, gate's locked.
Gotcha.
It's all because it started talking.
Yeah.
It's good and bad.
Yeah.
Especially in small communities, small towns.
Well, I just want to put this out there that I collaborated with one of our engineers who's working on this project, Austin Ducey.
Okay.
to finalize the interview questions for today. And he said, and I want to quote him directly, "We would not be Fence to Maker without our field crews, and this project would not be any type of a success without your efforts." And so I wonder if you reflect on the impact that you and your crew and fellow colleagues out here in the field have on our organization, and how you think about being such a vital part of our success.
I mean, I agree with the field. I mean, without us, I mean, not too many people are crazy enough to come out here.
Yeah.
I mean, there ain't many more surveyors left to do this kind of work.
Right.
That's what I'm gathering. But it's kind of a mutual thing. Like Joe Broussard, for instance. If I didn't have him to call,
Yeah.
I can't just come out here and start surveying. We need preparations. We need guidance. We need to know what we're doing, what we're doing it for. I think it's a two-way street, personally. I respect them, they respect us, and as long as it stays like that, I think we'd be all right. It's not that if it wasn't for us, we wouldn't have Fence to Maker. It's the same way around.
Yeah.
One company.
So, yeah, it's both ways.
Yeah.
But sometimes you get knuckleheads, and it goes the other way.
Yeah.
But this is the way I feel.
Yeah.
Because if I'm out here and I have a question, it's something I never did before or seen before, I need somebody to call.
Absolutely.
And
With the
they help me out.
reciprocity.
Yeah.
Two-way street, like you said.
I think it's everybody. If it wasn't for everybody here, we wouldn't have a company.
True.
Somebody to go get the work. I don't know how to go out there and get work.
Yeah.
Processing, I don't know how to process.
Right.
Just like processing don't know how to do this.
Yeah.
It's
Every step in the process requires
it's all
a
part of the
different
blocks.
person,
It's
a
all
link in the
builds up.
chain.
Exactly.
Yeah.
It's all part of that chain, like you said, that circle. It just got to have each other.
Yeah. Well, we appreciate everything that you're doing out here. Okay, so before we go, and I know we might get deeper into the woods or something, which is exciting for me. But
Whatever you want.
Maybe that happens or not. But before we go, I have to ask our closing question. So this is a question that I pose to all of our interview guests in the spirit of Fueled, our podcast name. What fuels you in general, life, work, family? What's fueling
My
you
family.
in life?
My family. Just to give them a good life. Give them most of the stuff that they want. Some of the stuff they have to go get by themselves. Yeah, it's my family. That's what keeps me going. People I work with. I work for many other companies, and there's some rough ones, man. Some people that just don't care. And that's what keeps me going. New areas, new jobs, new terrain, new people. But the main thing is my family. Putting a roof over their head, keeping them fed, enjoy the night. I didn't grow up with much. So to give them double what I had growing up, that's what fuels me. So,
Well, thank you for being part of our Fence to
Yes,
Maker
ma'am.
family. And thanks again for having us out today.
yep, anytime.
All right.
Enjoyed it.